Good morning, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome Dr. Ardeshir Mehran to the show. Dr. Mehran is disrupting the mental health field and delivering more effective practices to heal depression and ease the emotional suffering of people across the world. He is the author of the best-selling book, You Are Not Depressed, You Are Unfinished, which I love. Everyone else portrays depression as an immutable cause, a mood disorder that must be treated. Dr. Moran busts this myth and focuses attention on the real culprit, the unfulfilled life we must lead when we deny our birthright. He developed the Bill of Emotional Rights based on 30 years of research, coaching, and clinical work. And you can read more about his life work on his website, Ardeshir Mehran. He's a psychologist, a trauma therapist, behavioral researcher, leadership and team coach. He has a PhD, an MED in counseling, organizational and research psychology from Columbia University in New York City. And he has held leadership roles in corporations and consulting firms and has advanced training in psychoanalysis, group therapy, and team dynamics. And I am just so honored that you are taking the time to speak with me today. So thanks for
Great, great. Thank you so much, Kelly. Delighted to be here. And your program, Broken Beautiful Me, caught my attention right away. And I thought, wow, we're going to have a great conversation. Thank you.
thank you so much. I think so too. Just looking at your body of work, I'm so interested in your viewpoint as it relates to some of my work with grief and what wisdom you can offer today. So let's just jump right in. Not
You
with
bet.
that.
Thank you. Lead the way.
Okay. So can you share just to start a bit for the listeners about your personal journey and what led you to write You Are Not Depressed, You Are
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. And to be honest, I didn't know I'll be doing the work that I'm doing right now, except what I was noticing is starting from my own childhood and later on in graduate school, getting my doctorate in psychology and then in corporate, I would see people stressed, look depressed, unhappy. And it was a state of mind and experience that it would last forever. You would see people who were always unhappy. I remember my own family, my own parents. Later on, I saw it myself. And you would see corporate environment, corporate leaders, team members, that the general sense of people didn't feel well, felt broken, felt unsatisfied. And it would become a state of mind. And people would say, that's life, deal with it. And then as I work with people, I was every now and then I was like a smart Alex, says, show me what's in your purse or in your backpack, your drawer. And you would see lots of medications for back pain, stomach pain, like chest pain, I would travel with people you would see drinking a lot, and people told me about their life struggles, infidelity, and so on. And I always wonder, what is it that people, when they suffer, suffering lasts a long time?
Mhm.
And I'm a psychologist, the proud psychologist. Why is it that we cannot help people to heal? The best we are doing, we help people to manage their struggles. But people who've been in therapy or who are psychologists, they know depression comes back, anxiety comes back, and obsessive compulsive mindset comes back. And I always wonder why. And it was only after I changed my lens of inquiry from how to help people to why do people get ill and why healing lasts a long time that I realized actually we are solving the wrong problem. All we're doing is symptom management. And looking at your title of your podcast, Broken Me, yes, we can be broken, but brokenness is a adaptive response. It's not a cause. is an adaptive response, is a survival experience. We need to go upstream about what happened when we broke. And I realized that actually there are based upon certain experiences, certain life realities that if we focus on that, brokenness not only minimizes, it dissipates. That's the essence of my work. And then my book, that depression is about living an unfinished life. Parts of you never got a chance to be fulfilled, to be experienced, to be owned. Because nobody taught us that. Nobody's fault. Nobody taught us that we as humans, we have certain emotional rights. We all do, everywhere, all eras, all cultures. Once we know that, our brokenness goes away.
That is beautiful. And I so agree. The title of the podcast is truly how I made a conscious decision to live, so that there are events in life that will make you feel broken, but
Yeah.
your approach to them can actually lead to a more beautiful and fulfillment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your work is just so important for today's world, where I think people feel, especially with being isolated post COVID and
Right.
just particularly broken and not really sure of the pathway to go forward. So what advice would you give listeners struggling with being unfinished or
Yeah.
incomplete? What would you say to them?
Great. So there are two things, there are two dimensions to wellness. And one is that understanding the power of human body, human nervous system. The next one is that knowing that we humans, like the way when we are born, almost think about vitamins. We know what vitamin deficiency looks like when you don't have enough vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and so on. You know, vitamin deficiency looks like, and you know what is the regimen for vitamin health. What we don't have is that emotional, the fulfillment, emotional deficiency.
Mhm.
Many people have emotional deficiency. They don't even know it. It's not their fault. Nobody taught us that. The same way we take vitamins, we need to have emotional recipe for health. So reset your body, your nervous system, and make sure you have your emotional vitamins, your emotional health. You combine those two, you will do well. Let me explain a bit further.
Okay.
Since about 20 years ago, there's been a significant shift and advancement in the field of medicine, coming from actually from veteran affairs hospitals with soldiers, PTSD. This information came from pain clinics, trauma centers. So we're learning the power, the impact of trauma on people's bodies, people's lives. What we really learn is about how the whole nervous system, our entire body works. That when we have early childhood trauma basically in sense of being overwhelmed,
Mhm.
experiences that they are so extreme or so they last a long time, like poverty, child abuse, neglect, shame, physical abuse, in terms of coming from like war-torn areas or hunger. So what happens, more or less, we live in a compromised state of being. We live in what is called emotional freeze, that we hunker down, we get stuck, we live a life of fearfulness. When that happens, our inner nervous system, our gut tightens, creates cortisol, adrenaline. Those are the reactions to fear, sense of being very apprehensive. Our heart has started to race as a way we always ready to pounce, ready to run, ready to do something. So when you're in a state like that, our cognitive, our thinking, our way of relating to the world is minimized. More or less, we a state of fear-based responding to the world. And a child who grows up in an environment like that, they are passive. They are quiet. That's where ADHD start to happen. They live in a very reactive state of mind. It's almost like a scared cat. When you approach a scared cat, what they do, they pounce on you, but they don't want to be touched. Many people, we don't have data, but many people grow up in a state of that kind of like being in a state of hyper vigilant, hyper scared, hyper alert. The second thing, when that happens, we stop paying attention and owning our emotional needs for connection, needs to live a life of safety, a life of relating and being honored by others, live a life pursuing our dreams. More or less, we're state of becoming an observer of life versus actually living a life. That's where depression comes in. The very first part, when we are in a state of hypervigilance, very anxious, that's where anxiety, obsessive compulsiveness, and ADHD comes in.
Mm-hmm.
When we are held back from living our life in a calm, intentional way, that's where depression comes in. Depression is a sense of disconnection to our needs, to our experiences, to what we want and we crave to have in life. So anxiety and depression, they go hand in hand. They feed each other. So what your listeners can do is pay attention to your emotional health. But more important, pay attention to your own body. As you're listening to this call, do you experience like tight gut? Do you experience like churning stomach? Do you experience in your daily life like a chest problem, like racing heart, like a short breath? Or do you experience body pain, aches like in your hips, your thighs, back of the neck, shoulders? If you do, they could signal a body that is in a state of stress prone life.
Okay.
Your, your body tells you when your body has a lot of discomfort, that tells you're living a compromised life. You are in a state of fear, a state of worries, a state of like apprehension about your daily life. And the way of healing is first try to reset your body. And the way you do that, you go see a therapy or counselor who's trained in trauma work, or it's called somatic work, that they know how do you heal your body. And next, as you do that, you start to claim, what do I want in life? Those emotional rights, which I want to describe, there are needs you have. Are you aware of them? Are you claiming them?
Absolutely. I think that ties into your bill of emotional right just beautifully. And I would love it if you would expand on that, because one of the things that I have utilized in my own daily practice to recover from my own life traumas are affirmations.
Yeah.
And I say them every morning. And your bill of of emotional rights, it spoke to me because it feels like affirmations that I have been using for some time.
Yeah.
So if you could tell the audience a little bit about how you developed it and what that means in terms
Yeah.
of person's mental health.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, these are actually affirmations. There are a number of my clients, and in fact, neighbors who have printed the emotional rights in color. You see a big poster behind me, and they have either tagged on the refrigerator, on the wall at work, by their bed, as a way to remind them. So number one. Number two, the reason I call them emotional rights, these are literally rights. And I use the statement from US Constitution that we hold these truths to be self-evident. These rights, they've been with humankind forever. I went to like early writing of the Greek and Roman philosophers. They are in all holy books, and you see them through all time, but nobody's put them together. And these rights, humans, we are wired to experience these rights. We literally, they are as elemental as our DNA. Parents don't give it to us. Teachers, managers, politicians, we are born to experience them. The very first right happens from birth, even from the womb, and a sense of connection, sense of belonging, that I entered this world, that there's somebody, their mother or primary caregiver, that holds me, loves me, and protects me, and pay attention to my needs and help me develop to become a person that I am right now. That shapes the early attachment sense of life is good. I'm seen, I'm loved, I'm valued, and and a sense of belonging gets shaped over there.
Mhm.
What we know, there's a book by the previous U.S. Surgeon General that in the United States and many nations, we have epidemic of loneliness. That there are many people, we sit side by side at work, in our place of worship, in our communities, but we are lonely. We feel disconnected. And we don't have the basic connection of relating and reciprocity. Many of my clients who come to me for healing, and these are mostly in relationships, that they are deeply lonely. People talk about being in relationship at night, sleeping next to the partner, and being romantic, but they are lonely. They are unseen. They feel I'm I'm not seen. I'm held and loved, and my love received. So there's an element of loneliness. That's one of the core emotional needs. The next need, what I call I'm boundless, is to appreciate that we humans, we're actually the whole body of being.
Mhm.
That's I have the 20-year-old son, the 22-year-old son. And for those who raise kids or been around kids, sometime around age 3 or 4, we start to tell our kids, uh, you should sit there, don't be fidgety, put your hands down, use your words to speak, to communicate. Basically, we teach our kids to forget your body and become a cerebral being. Yeah. The reality is we think, actually, we know from research, we think with our entire body. You're a three-dimensional thinker. We experience everything through our body. You're really like a lion or lioness in the Serengeti. But in, in the Western world, we are born to move, told to sit. That when that happens, actually, we do feel depressed. We become a heady person. There's a term monkey brain, a brain that is thinking versus we don't realize that we actually have energy, excitement, emotions in our entire being. A key piece of data for listeners, emotions, they are not in our head. They are in our bodies. Body, a brain senses and processes information. Sensations, emotions, they're all in the body, but we are not attuned to body. So what happens for people who are depressed or do not feel well or feel broken, their body feels sluggish. Their body feels this mass of tissues, bone and muscle and move around, but you feel so disconnected. Part of the journey of healing is attune to your body. What's coming up for you? What you feel in your gut, in your chest, in your shoulders. The next need is I'm complete. The term broken has a rear view version to that, that I look back at my life and realize I don't feel well. There are experiences that are still heavy, experiences that they are bring shame, guilt, regret. The fact is, from neurology, there's no such thing as past. That we may remember our past relationships, past experiences, but the experience of living happens only here and now. that when you're here and now, we are okay. It is when we think about the past that all these overwhelming emotions come for us. And the journey of healing is finding a way to grieve, to appreciate and let go of things that didn't happen for us, or the things that we wanted to happen that shouldn't have happened. And then coming to terms with life as it is right now and start over again. That instead of fighting yesterday's battle, that what kind of life you're going to create right now, so that you're complete and living with that. The next need is I matter. There are many people in this world, in our communities, in our midst, that they're invisible. The best way to know this, next time when you are at work, when you're gathering, in a picnic, in a place of worship, look around to see, as people enter, who's having eye contact with them, who's calling their names, said, Kelly, Ardeshir, good to see you, come, it's here. There are many people enter the gathering unseen and unnoticed and unacknowledged. They know it. They feel it. Sense of mattering means that you're seen, you're respected. There's an element of dignity bestowed upon you. Whether you ride a Ferrari or you ride a rusted Honda Civic, that doesn't matter who you are, that you matter by the sheer fact of you being in this community among us. And your opinion, your reactions, your perspectives matter. And we want to hear it. The next need is the need of I make. That everybody in this world is doing something. Doesn't matter where you are, you're president or you're in the boiler room, you're in a farm or you're in the Supreme Court, that everybody's doing something in this world. Is that your thing? Is that your work? Does that make you be in flow, be in joy, that you're making contribution? For many people, the act of work is about basically sustenance, that I have bills to pay, a family to take care of, which is very important. But we numb ourselves to our daily work. Even the term working for the man, that nobody wants to work for the man. You feel that this is a burden to carry. This need is about that the thing you do, is that your work? Is that your occupation? Is that your duty? If not, go find it. Because when you're in your flow of work, you feel like you're in love. You feel great. And and it's about finding your joy about the thing you do. The next need is the need of I am. This is about your authenticity, your voice, your conviction, your belief. I'm sure you've seen this many times in the gathering at work again, the community. You ask, hey, what do you think? That person may say that, oh, no, you go first. First, tell me, what do you think? That there are many people who are holding back their opinion, their belief. They try to lower the volume so they please and appease others, while they have very strong opinion. And this is about sharing what's in your heart, what's in your mind, that your opinion belongs to the world. Your opinion could be the worst idea. On the list, it needs to be expressed. Yeah. You need to claim your space, your voice, and your right of expression. This is actually a very important point. You have the right to speak, to share your opinion with your backbone straight, looking straight to the other person or people and say, hey, this is what I believe in. And be open to have a dialogue about back and forth. There are many quiet people here. Many people living in marriages, children that they don't speak up. And that does damage to our soul, to our dignity, to our sense of fulfillment. The last need, and again, these are not linear. These, when I say last need, is the final. The need of I soar. Maya Angelou has this statement in her book, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. The statement is, there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. I love that. That's beautiful. Exactly. And the untold story, we all have a story. 8 billion people, 8 billion stories. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a role and duty to fulfill in this lifetime. For many of us, and for many years, that was me. I let my life, my circumstances, my place of work dictate my story. But this is about finding, who are you? What do you believe in? Where are you going? What are the topics or passion that you want to dig into? Says, I'm doing this. This is my life. And pursuing that with energy, with obsession, being very hard-headed around that.
Yeah.
This is about claiming, this is my life. This is what defines me. For example, I share this with my wife that when I die, on my grave, if they allow me, I want to write, Ardeshir Mehran cracked the code of depression and eased the suffering of millions.
I
That's
love
my life. That's my
Mhm.
life. Ease the suffering of millions who struggle with depression. That's my life. That will be my legacy. I don't let anything else distract me. And we all have that legacy, that pursuit. So these 7 needs, they play in our lifetime and they show up at different times, at different stages. So some of the needs, like I am or I soar, they become very visible. We become aware of them around the age of 30. But some of the things like I belong, I matter, or I am, or I'm boundless, they start very early in life. And the invitation is for your listeners as they hear this, take a few deep breaths and see how these rights feel for them at their tissue level, at their internal level, for them to move toward fulfillment of these rights in their lives.
That's so powerful. And I think about just the last one you discussed with I soar and how many of us don't step into that truth.
Yes,
Or
yes,
it's owning who we are supposed to be. Uh,
yes,
I think you captured very well what you talk about on your headstone. What for me, it would be helping people who lost loved ones or who had lost
yeah.
gratitude, some growth through gratitude. So leading into that, so I've worked with the bereaved now for about 16 years. And my focus is working with gratitude for the little things. And I started doing that after the loss of my son, Stephen, in 2009.
Mm,
So I started looking for one little thing each day to hang on to. And it became something because I had a younger son who deserved a very happy, healthy life.
yeah,
So even though we were in tremendous pain as a family, at the end of the day, when we talk about what our one little thing was for each day,
yeah,
look for it. And it didn't, I always have said to people that I worked with that it didn't change the pain of that loss.
yeah,
It alleviates some of that suffering. And so I believe so strongly that gratitude is essential in challenging circumstances. And because it truly tethers you to that present moment, right? So when you are actively seeking and looking for the blessings in your life, you're not looking back with regret,
yeah,
nor are
yeah,
you looking forward with worry. You are right here and right now,
yeah,
and you are okay.
yeah, yeah.
And I just want to get more take on that from a clinical or scientific approach and more work. What do you think about the benefits of gratitude and that research side of
Yeah.
it?
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so sorry about your son. I didn't know that.
Thanks so
As
much.
a parent, that's a very, very heavy experience with this, Kelly. The way I think about it, and I share this with colleagues, with my clients, and practice in my life. We all live in a in between space in lives. Life is always the space of darkness and lightness, tragedy and joy. That things go well and then tragedy happened. This past week, this Friday, I went to see a friend that um, hadn't seen for almost 20 years. She came from East Coast to, I live in outside San Francisco. A mother and her son, she was in California to see her son. And she said, I want to share with you, my son had an accident, motorcycle, driving by the coastal Northern California. He fell off a cliff and his right leg was amputated. A beautiful son, recently married, and just to think, a sudden tragedy happens.
Mhm.
And it reminded me of this element of grief and gratitude. Grief is that life is inherently built, there's a loss built into that, tragedy built into that. We lose loved ones. There, where hard things happen to our loved ones, to ourselves. And gratitude to know that life is still goes on. There's a bird sitting outside on the windowsill. Right now, when I'm sitting to my left, there's a window right outside window is a beautiful green apple tree. I planted it during the first year of pandemic, and that tree died several times. For me, either not watering it, overwatering it, not fertilizer. But the tree is healthy right now. And what remember how many times I thought I need to uproot the tree because it looks sick. I thought it's dying. There's an element of surrender. See life as it is. Life, its beauty and tragedy happen at the same time. And you're right in that middle point. Enjoy where things happened. Go through when the grief and tragedy happens, and we'll be okay. Do your work. As you said, you have a younger son, bring the love, bring the role of the parents, create the safety and heartfulness in the family, and just be there and breathing life and move on. The key part about sense of grief is not about forgetting. When we lose something, it's always there in our heart. We create a lot of windows in our hearts for the people who are no longer with us. And we love them, but it's private. It's a private remembrance going forward.
Absolutely. So, for someone who is struggling right now, whether that be from a personal loss or they are in a professional setting and they just can't see their way through,
Yeah.
what would be the number one place that you would recommend they start? What's
Yeah.
the starting line for them?
Thank you. When we struggle, three things are happening simultaneously. When we feel a struggle, like especially people who are high achievers, professionals, parents, we often feel very isolated and lonely. And many people don't realize that. They feel, I need to push through. I need to figure this out. I can to handle this. The struggle is a core part of a struggle is isolation. Nobody heals by themselves. We are pack animals. When we struggle, finding a friend, even finding a pet, like I have a beautiful golden retriever. When I feel down, her name is Lucy, very rambunctious golden retriever. We go run together. We go play fetch together. And she, in some way, I see her and I'm telling myself, I cannot be depressed. Lucy needs me to play with her. So the very first thing is to be with somebody, not necessarily ask for advice. A lot of time we don't need advice. We need a sense of connection. Somebody says, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. We can go walk in the park, have a beer, whatever, just that you matter to me, finding somebody, and within family, friends, that sense of connection. Number one, when we struggled, we also started to literally disconnect from the world. Our five senses are, we don't enjoy food anymore. Our body feels sluggish. We just feel that anything the too much is the sense of like perfume, scent, like anything taste. We just more or less moving towards shutdown. A way to come out of it is bring experiences that awakens your five senses. Go walk barefoot on your grass in the park. If you're by water, go sit there and just watch the waves. Watch the birds. Like wherever you are, if you're listening to this program, just listen to the sounds in your living area, your room, your neighborhood, the sky above. Bring your five senses into play, because once we do that, we feel again connected to the world around us versus feeling I'm hunkering down. The third one, when you struggle, there's an element of human agency. Agency means sense of control that has some impact on my life versus life guides me. I'm just a follower. I have no control. We want to get our agency back, that you can influence things in life. And it could be very simple. Instead of having a Coke, you have a Pepsi. Instead of having a pasta, you have Mexican food. So somehow think about, what do you like to do right now? And do that. Could be, it's what I tell people, sometimes it could be as simple as go take a shower, go shave, go color your hair, clean your room, mop the floors, do something that you feel I'm making something better. So again, sense of connection, awaken your five senses, and sense of agency, small things you can control. When we do that, the impact is you come to here and now. You feel you're back home. You feel that today I'm mastering me, mastering my life. I will figure out tomorrow, but today, this moment, I'm okay because I'm doing this.
Yeah, that's so. And I couldn't agree more about, the little anchor points of, for me, I know in the early days of my grief, nature played a huge, watching how nature is about, there's growth and there's death. There's the bulbs in the spring, they reemerged from the dirt and thought they were gone.
Yes.
So many teaching examples that we can learn from.
Yeah.
And of course, I have two Labrador retrievers, and nothing like a good cuddle from your puppy.
Exactly. They're antidepressant. You don't need medication.
You do not. They're the greatest example of unconditional love that anyone could ever have. It's so wonderful.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
I cannot thank you enough for this just fascinating conversation with you. I so appreciate the wisdom that you've been so generous to share with me today. So nice meeting you.
Same here, Kelly. And then the key part, the one message for folks is that we when we get labels, depressed, anxious, obsessive compulsive, and so on, we start to take those labels almost like personality trait. I'm a depressed person, I'm an anxious person, versus those are adaptive responses. Depression is not a cause, it's a consequence. Anxiety, ADHD, all of those are adaptive responses. To what? To an unfulfilled life, to a nervous system that is in a survival mode. Focus on those. And since I'm broken, I'm deficient, I'm not good enough, I'm depressed, those response to a life how you lived so far. And it is not your fault. There's no shame and blame. It's not your fault that you ended up in certain environment and you did your best to survive. And the journey of coming home, literally coming home, is to see what those broken parts are Broken parts leads you home to yourself. Follow that. Don't lose hope. In fact, get pissed off and go find you. Don't waste time fixing a depression. Go become the person you meant to be all along. Once you do that, depression dissipates.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And there's no expiration on starting that.
That's
You
right.
can arrive at that point at any time in your life and say,
That's
okay, I'm
right.
looking to do this.
That's right. And if you stumble, try again. The one thing beautiful about human being and all living things is we are wired to start over and over every day. Start again. Do as much as you can.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful. And I just want to remind the listeners to please visit your website. And I'm going to have a link attached
Thank
to the
you.
episode so that they can learn more about the emotional bill of rights and of course your book. And I strongly encourage everyone to grab a copy of that and just be inspired and turn the page for yourselves and your life. So
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly.
thank
Best
you.
of everything to you and to your listeners.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.